Hello, good morning, grade 9. Today we will be reading another poem. This is the second poem for your unit about the civil rights movement. This one is called Incident, and it's by Incident by Natasha Trethewey. I guess is how you would say that name. So I will read the poem first, and then I will go back through and explain what it is that you're reading. I'll read it twice. I'll read it once, just all the way, and then I will read it a second time and explain each stanza. Okay, remember when you have a block of lines like this is called a stanza, okay? We tell the story every year, how we peered from the windows, shades drawn, though nothing really happened, the charred grass now green again. We peered from the windows, shades drawn, at the cross, trussed like a Christmas tree, the charred grass still green. Then we darkened our rooms, lit the hurricane lamps. At the cross, trussed like a Christmas tree, a few men gathered, white as angels in their gowns. We darkened our room and lit hurricane lamps, the wicks trembling in their fonts of oil. It seemed the angels had gathered, white men in their gowns. When they were done, they left quietly. No one came. The wicks trembled all night in their fonts of oil. By morning, the flames had all dimmed. When they were done, the men left quietly. No one came. Nothing really happened. By morning, all the flames had dimmed. We tell the story every year. Okay. So I'm going to tell you now that this story, this poem, there are some poetic devices that are used, like repetition. You'll notice that, like, when one line ends, you'll see the same line maybe again in the second stanza, almost the exact same line. And in this case, they repeat it at the beginning. The first line is also the same as the last line. These are poetic devices. This is like repetition. It's on purpose, right? Here, a few men gathered, white as angels. It seems the angels had gathered, white men in their gowns. So they are using repetition, and all of this is on purpose. In America, there is this very, very evil organization called the Ku Klux Klan, or the KKK. They are a group of white people, of white males, and they are openly racist and against black people. They used to do things that are called lynchings, which is basically they would go into the homes of these black people and grab them out of their homes and then hang them by a noose from a tree. Or they would tar and feather them, which would, they would basically go into homes of black people and just kill them. Another thing that they would do is they would take these big white crosses. They would take these big crosses and put them on in the front of black families' homes, and they would light it on fire as a warning to them, to say that the KKK or the Klan, that they know that they're there, that they know that these black people live there, and that these black people are not safe. It was like it was intimidation, and it was meant as a threat. Okay, they're a very, very evil, very dark group of people whose purpose is to be racist and to hate anybody that is not white. So during the Civil War, during the Civil Rights Movement, they were also very active, but the KKK has been active even before then. They've been active. They're an organization that was around in like the 1800s during the Civil War and a little bit after the Civil War also. And it's a group that they still exist today. It is very illegal. So these people, when they are found, they are arrested. The things that they do, all of them, it's very illegal. So they are like a secret organization. They dress in these white uniforms, and they hide their faces so that they remain anonymous and that people in public will not know who they are. I'm going to show you. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of them. But they're a very mean, very evil group of people. Okay, and their purpose is to harass and attack and intimidate and to do harm to anybody that is not white, basically. And they do it while they're wearing these big white clothes, and they cover their faces with a big white. It looks like it's like a big white hat, basically, and it covers their whole face, and it comes to a point. Okay. So let's read this again. We tell the story every year, how we peered from the windows, shades drawn, though nothing really happened, the charred grass now green again. Okay, so they're looking through the window. Okay, this is whoever's telling this, she's telling this story that happened to them. And they tell the story every year. They're looking through these windows from behind the shades or behind the curtains so that people outside can't see inside. And nothing really happened. Charred grass, this is like when you burn something, what's left over is charred. Okay, so something was burned on their lawn in the front of their house. This grass was, and it made the grass also burn. It charred the grass. It turned it black. And now it's been long enough that the grass is green again. So it's been a long time since this thing happened. But when the grass was burned, it grew back again, and now it's green. We peered from the windows, shades drawn, at the cross, trussed like a Christmas tree, the charred grass still green. Then we darkened our rooms, lit the hurricane lamps. This is what a hurricane lamp is. This here is what a hurricane lamp is. This cross, it's like the Christian symbol. The symbol of Christianity is like a big cross, right? It looks like a big T, or it looks like a lowercase t a little bit. And this was something that the KKK would use to light on fire on people to scare people. Okay, so what she's saying here, what this author is saying, is that this cross, it was lit up like a Christmas tree with fire. And it burned, it charred the grass at the time, which was green. And then these people that they're in their homes, they make their rooms dark, and the only thing they light are these lamps, okay, these hurricane lamps, to give themselves, so that they can see what's happening inside, but people outside can't really see inside. At the cross, trussed like a Christmas tree, a few men gathered, white as angels in their gowns. We darkened our rooms and lit hurricane lamps, the wicks trembling in their fonts of oil. Okay, so this is when we see these people white as angels. This is in their gowns. This is who she's talking about. She's talking about the KKK. She's talking about the Klan. They are these men that are dressed in all white. And obviously they're not angels. They're very, very mean, very nasty, very evil people. But this is sort of the figurative language that she's using in this poem, right? They're white. They look as if they're trying to be angels, but obviously they're not angels. And they're in their dark rooms with these hurricane lamps. See, notice the repetition here, right? We darkened our rooms, lit the hurricane lamps. We darkened our rooms and lit the hurricane lamps. Same thing. The wicks trembling in their fonts of oil. A wick is the part of a candle or a lantern or a lamp that is actually on fire. It's usually like some sort of thread or some kind of string, okay? So the wick is what's on fire, and it's trembling. Trembling is like another word for shaking, okay? Trembling in their fonts of oil. It seemed the angels had gathered, white men in their gowns. When they were done, they left quietly. No one came. The wicks trembled all night in their fonts of oil. By morning, the flames had all dimmed. So this is what happened. So these white men, these men dressed like angels, but they're really very mean. They gathered, right? They came to this house, all of these white men in their white gowns. And then when they finished, after this cross was burned, they just left. They left quietly. Nobody broke into the house, which was something that would happen often. If you see this white cross on your lawn, very often people will break into the house and steal people and take people from inside your home and go and kill them somewhere, just maybe on your front yard. It was very violent, okay? But they were fortunate, right? These people, they left quietly. Nobody came inside. These lanterns, they were burning all night, and then by the time the morning came, they were all almost out of oil, okay? So they burned all night, and now they're almost out of oil. When they were done, the men left quietly. No one came. Nothing really happened. By morning, all the flames had dimmed. We tell this story every year. Yeah, so this is what happened. It's basically like this family, these people, they were threatened, right? And there's a lot of repetition here. This line is in the first stanza here. By morning, all the flames had dimmed is again right here. When they were done, the men left quietly. Nobody came. When they were done, right here, it's the same thing, right? They're repeating themselves. We tell the story every year. This is how the poem starts. So these are all different poetic devices used to uh, invoke emotion. You're meant to feel scared, or you're meant to feel something for this while you're reading this poem. You're meant to feel intimidated. You're meant to feel like these people are threatening you, right? These people that are coming to your home, this could happen to anybody if you're not white. This group of people could come to your home and threaten you like this, and maybe even break into your house and steal your children or steal your parents or whatever, and go and just murder them somewhere on the street. Um, this was things that happened a lot uh, during the Civil War. I mean, during American history, up until probably the 1980s is when it's happened less, maybe. But like throughout the 1960s, even up to and through some of the civil rights movement, these things were happening very often. I mean, this will still happen even today. The KKK is still active. It's still an organization. They still have meetings. It's still a secret organization, but these people still exist. They're still around. They're still alive, and who knows what they're doing.